Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Tyler, and welcome back to the My New Nerd Studio. And today we are talking about one of the summer's biggest releases for movies. That is Bullet Train, directed
Bullet
by
train.
David Leitch, starring everybody. No, never mind. That comes next year when Oppenheimer comes out. That
Oh,
stars
that's
everybody.
everybody.
But stat cast, you got Brad Pitt, Brian Tyree Henry, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Joey King, Andrew Koji, Bad Bunny, Haruki Sanada. I'm sorry, I probably butchered the fuck out of that. Michael Shannon, Zazie Beetz, Sandra Bullock, and a couple other people. And tells the story of a man who is basically a criminal, kind of, I guess, and he has to go on this bullet train and get this briefcase and get out, and basically all hell breaks loose on the train.
hmm
So my excitement for this movie was very strange. I first saw the trailer. I was excited for this movie before the trailer came out because director Deadpool 2, Hobbs and Shaw, two movies that and John Wick, three movies that I enjoy very, very much. AJ has seen all the movies he's directed. He does not like one of the movies he did, that being Atomic Blonde. Um, and
Snooze fest.
I saw the cast and I heard the premise. I was like, yo, this is gonna be fucking dope. And then I saw the trailer and I was like, what the fuck is this?
I love the trailer,
And,
bro.
and I didn't, I guess I didn't expect it to be like super goofy. And as I saw this trailer was played so much in the fucking theater. But I saw this like a couple times in IMAX and I was like, yo, this looks kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. And then I saw the second trailer, even though it spoiled the whole fucking movie. Which, if you have not seen this movie, do not watch that trailer. It spoils the whole movie. Um, I saw the second trailer, and the second trailer was cool. I was like, yo, this is gonna be cool. So I kind of walked into this movie kind of pumped. And walking out, I would say that I can't say this movie was disappointing because I didn't have high expectations for it. But I would say it's one of the better movies that we've gotten this year. Bullet Train was definitely a fun ride. Has
Understood.
great, yeah, has great action sequences. A very charismatic cast and a great sense of fun, and it's entertaining for the most part. But I did have some issues with it, but I can't say that I enjoyed this one. And this is definitely, when you look back at what we've gotten this year, this is among the better of what
Yes,
we've got this year for
I
sure.
can agree.
um I didn't hate myself. I wasn't like, "Oh, that was a waste of my time." I was like, that was kind of good. I enjoyed myself. AJ, how did you feel about Bullet Train?
So, when I first saw the Bullet Train trailer, like I can't even remember how long ago. Maybe like 5 months ago.
It was a while ago.
It was a while ago. It was earlier in the year. I saw the trailer and I was like, "Yo, this looks dope!" Like I was so excited. I was like, "This is. I have to see this the first day it releases." And yeah, man, my anticipation didn't drop. Like I was excited for this film all the way up until its release. Saw the film. I actually got a late night showing. It was like really the first time I went to a late night showing in a long time. I got out of the theater at like midnight, and yo, I enjoyed this thoroughly. Um, it wasn't a perfect film. I do have a few things that some nitpicks, some few issues with it, but I had so much fun with this movie. The comedy hit. It is definitely action comedy, type film, and it's very character driven. There is a lot of dialogue, a lot of flashbacks, a lot of things like that. So be prepared for that if you're, gonna watch it. But for the most part, it was just a straight fun, really funny. Um, yeah, I enjoyed it, man.
Awesome. So, you guys know how we do it here. We're gonna do positives. We're gonna do spoiler free, and then spoilers. I'm not gonna go too far into spoilers because it is late, and I don't really have much to say on this movie. It mainly what I have to say has to do with the third act, really, and most of the second act. But
Mhm.
let's get into it. So, Positives for Bullet Train. This movie's very entertaining. It is very entertaining. It has this really good sense of insanity that this does. If someone said like, "Oh yeah, it's like Deadpool but with like a better cast," I'd be like, "Yeah, I could say that it does have that Deadpool vibe to it." Um, the action in the movie is really good. I would say that the action in this movie is probably better than Deadpool 2, I would say. It's there's a lot of wide shots. It's hard. It's definitely hard hitting. There's a lot of hits in this movie. I was like, oh damn. It's violent. Always is violent. Uh, there is a kill count in this movie. Let's just say
There is.
there's a scene where someone gets beheaded, and that took me by surprise. I was like, "Oh shit!" Yeah, the acting is the action is very entertaining throughout. I think pretty much all the action sequences were good. Um, and I was actually excited when a new one would come because the action preceding it was very good.
Mhm.
Acting across the board is very strong for a movie like this, and what I mean is this movie's very stupid and silly and over the top, and you wouldn't expect the kind of acting that we get in this movie from these actors. Well, Brad Pitt, you always expect to be good, and he is good. The one thing that kind of bugged me about Brad Pitt was that he had this like whiny thing to his voice a little bit, like when he started complaining about things. And I was like, that's a little weird, you know. But because like I think most Brad Pitt movies I've seen, he's always serious, like or like he's not the way he was in this movie. Because I don't think I've seen a Brad Pitt like comedy. And even in Ocean's 11, he's very you know calm. He's not
Mhm.
all over the place. Um,
Mhm.
the standouts for this movie easily are Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree Henry, who were both fantastic. Aaron Taylor Johnson normally gives a performance that is the equivalent of this bottle of water right here. Um, Thankfully, he is very good in this movie, probably giving both of our favorite performances from him.
Yes, sir.
I don't hate him as an actor. I know most people say, "Oh, Godzilla." I don't hate him
Yo.
in that movie. I don't hate him in that movie, and I don't mind him as Quicksilver either. Um, but this is easily the most charismatic that I've seen him. He's having a ton of fun. Brian Tyree Henry has been killing it lately. He was in Godzilla vs Kong, Eternals. He was in something else. What else was he in?
He stars in Atlanta too. He's
He
the
is
star of Atlanta
he's good. He's
as
really
well.
really good. He was a lot of fun in this. It's probably my favorite character. I really liked him. Joey King, who I did not expect to be in this movie as much as she was really good. I Again, she was another one. Normally, she doesn't really give good performances. This movie was she gave a good performance. I guess that's what happens when you have a good director.
I think her roles are more. She doesn't really take roles that are this grand and or these this charismatic.
I
So
guess.
the princess was pretty good.
She
But
she yeah she was
she's
good in
pretty good
that.
in the
I
princess.
fucking
Mhm.
forgot that movie even came out. Um, Andrew Koji was pretty good. I wanted to see more of him because he was the standout for me in Snake Eyes. I liked him a lot as Storm Shadow, which
Yeah,
everyone said he was the best part of the Snake Eyes movie. Someone who's not Snake Eyes.
he was the best
Everyone
part,
said he was the
guys.
best part, and he was really good here. I wish he had a little bit more to do, but well, he gets more towards the end. But I wish he had more in the beginning. I thought he was gonna have a bigger part in the beginning. Um, the humor is very well done. I was laughing pretty hard at this movie. I will say I laughed more at the beginning of this movie rather than the ending for one reason or another. But I think the first half of this movie was funnier than the second half of the movie. But it is funny though.
You know
There
what I
was
think that is though? I think that might be because some of the jokes were established in the beginning of the movie and then they kind of carried on throughout and then towards the end and they kind of got a little tired towards the end, not all the way, but I think that might be one of the reasons.
But the beginning of this, I was laughing pretty hard. I cannot say that
Same.
there was maybe one joke towards the end where I rolled my eyes. Other than that,
Mhm,
I was like, this is pretty fucking funny. It's funny.
mhm.
I like the simplicity of this movie. I always like a simple movie. You say, "Oh, here's this plot. The characters are blah 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 blah." All right, we're all to the running. I always like a simple movie like that when it's good, and this is an example of that. And it's an original movie too. At that, I always appreciate that. The music in the movie was pretty good.
Mhm.
Score was okay. It wasn't anything groundbreaking. The
Yeah.
license stuff is where it's great. You heard the Staying Alive in the trailer, and then we got a Japanese version of I Need a Hero, which was fucking awesome in this movie. And my last positive is that the first and third acts of this movie are very, very strong. I love the first act of this movie. It's probably my favorite part of the movie, if I'm going to be honest. And the third act of the movie was a lot of fun. I did enjoy the third act, even though I had a negative relating to that. But I did very much enjoy the third act of this movie. Are there any positives that I did not hit that you would like to dish?
Um, I think you pretty much hit all of them, but I do want to say that I do agree. Brian Tyree Henry and Aaron Taylor Johnson were the standouts of this film. I loved their character, and like I said some of my positives like kind of early, but this movie is character driven, and I love that in a film. I love when there is character depth. There are emotional moments between characters. Chemistry is great. And this film is, I wouldn't say it's a non-linear timeline, but there are flashbacks here, like I said earlier, and it's kind of like putting a puzzle together. And I love films that do that. Memento is kind of like that, where it puts puzzles together, and by the third act, everything is together, everything makes sense, wraps it all up with a bow. That's what I loved about this film. So yeah, that's my non-spoiler
All right.
positive.
Moving on to my negatives. The pacing of this movie for me was very inconsistent. The first act of this movie flew by. I was like, "All right, this is we're moving." And then when we get to the second act of this movie, it's like the train slammed the brakes on itself, and we were just like at a standstill. And it was the second act moved for the most part, but then it got to a point where I was like, "Yo, how much more of this is left?" A certain character shows up, and I was like, "Dude, this movie's not almost over, bro." Oh my god, I thought the pacing was rough. As I said before, the second act of this movie is very slow and very long. There was a point where Kevin checked his phone, and I got a glimpse of the time, and I remember what time the movie started. And in my head, I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Because of how long. I think there was like an hour of the movie left. I was like, "Oh my god, how much more of this is there?"
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like the movie is very, 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 very stuffed. It's very stuffed with things, and I feel like that kind of hurts the movie. The I feel like the movie was longer than it was because the movie was 2 hours and it felt like two and a half. By the end of the movie, I was ready to go. I was ready to go, and it's not because I didn't like the movie. I was just like, dude, it's just like it just keeps going and going. It's like Age of Extinction to an extent. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, this movie's still happening. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why is this happening? This movie could have ended like 20 minutes ago, and I would have been okay.
Yeah.
You know, the movie again. The movie didn't know when to end. The third act kind of ends, and then there's like 10 more minutes. I was like, oh my god, bro. The movie this is probably my biggest negative with the movie. The movie has a really annoying habit of explaining things, and by the end of the movie I was very irritated with the movie. It does this thing where it shows where characters come from, and I was like, okay, and we'll talk about some of them in spoilers. But it explains some things that happen, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then there's other things it explains. It's like I could have lived without that being explained to me. That didn't need to be explained, and there's a point where, like, for like 10 whole minutes, it's just fucking exposition. You got someone telling Brad Pitt a story about how something or someone happened, and then right after that, that person shows up and then he tells another story. I'm like, oh my god, I don't care. I honestly checked out. I was like, bro, I'm ready for this third act to start, bro.
You're actually
I was
explaining one
annoyed.
of my positives.
I
One of
did
your
not like
negatives
that.
is one of my
I did
positives.
not like that. The movie made me feel dumb in a bad way because it felt like I had to be spoon fed things, you know.
Mm.
And some of the characters did not get payoff, and I'll talk about that in the spoilers. I didn't think that some of the characters got exactly great payoff. I was like, that was it.
I
Okay.
can see that.
And lastly, some of the CGI did not look good towards the third act at all. It looked really bad, especially in IMAX. I was like, woof, that doesn't look good. But I guess that comes for the course with David Leitch because Deadpool 2 had iffy CGI in parts and Hobbs and Shaw had iffy CGI in parts. So I guess I guess when he makes big explosive action movies, that because John Wick doesn't have bad CGI. I don't think Atomic Blonde has bad CGI either, to my knowledge. So
Mm-mm. It's
so
fine.
I don't know. Were there any negatives that I missed?
Nope. I have two negatives, and both of them you mentioned, but I don't feel as strongly about them. I do think, I do agree that movie feels inconsistent in pacing. The first act, like the first like 30 minutes of the movie, have so many characters introduced, so many timeline or not timelines, but like stories told, and we're pumped. Okay, we're into it. But then the second act, maybe after that 30 minutes, it's kind of slows down, and then we look at our time. I did the same thing. I looked at the time. I was like, yo. Tyler was right. We have a lot more to go, and this is kind of crazy because we already had a lot of stuff happen already. So I think it could have been a little bit more evened out, um, with the first and second act. And the other negative I had was the CGI as well. It just was kind of rough towards the third act. There's some, yeah, like I said, there's some CGI there that's not great. And we'll get into what it is when we talk spoilers.
All right. That is gonna do it for the spoiler-free section. Again, we're keeping it quick because it's late, and there's not really much to spoil with this movie. It's really the third
Not a
act.
whole lot.
But let's get into final grades. My final grade for Bullet Train is going to be 3.5 out of 5. I did enjoy this movie. I do want to watch it again. It could go up on my rewatch.
I
I don't
think it
know,
will.
but
I
I
have a feeling
did
it will.
I did like this movie. I did, and it's definitely one of the better summer movies that we got this year. AJ, what is your final grade for Bullet Train?
My final grade is a 4 out of 5. I had a blast with this movie. I had some issues with it, but still great film.
Awesome, awesome. So that is going to do it for the spoiler free section. If you have not seen Bullet Train, I'm going to keep it quiet tonight. Please exit at the next stop. We're going to keep the
Get
Bullet
out of
Train.
here.
The spoiler free stop. The route has ended. Please exit,
Yep.
and destination to the spoiler filled has begun. So I want to start with the second act because that's my biggest negative. When the movie was really moving and moving and moving and moving, and I was kind of okay with it. It's when this guy's father shows up on the train, the movie fucking slowed down so hard, and I was like,
Oh, you
dude.
mean a granddad?
Yeah, Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. That's who he is. He's Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Um, and I found it so hilarious when he was like, "Do you want me to tell you a story? I'm
Yeah,
gonna tell
that
you a
was
story."
funny.
And
He's like,
Brad
it's
Pitt
a
was
quick
like,
one.
"No, no, no." I
No,
was like,
I don't
"That
want to
was
hear.
me.
I
That was
know.
me."
I felt that.
I was like, "No,
I
no, I don't
felt
want
that.
to fucking
I'm gonna
hear
tell
your
you anyway.
shit." I was like, "Oh my god, bro." And then the part where Michael Shannon is explaining everything, I was like, "Oh my god, bro! I thought we were in the third act. I thought
We
I
were.
was
We
in the
were.
third act,
We were.
and then the third act didn't even start yet." I was like,
Mm.
"Dude, oh my lord!" I was like, because I was getting pumped when
Well,
he
my
was like, "Oh,
well,
the
Michael Shannon when he showed up, that was the beginning of the third act.
no was not, bro." I didn't
When they
consider the start of the third act until they all got on the train and started fighting. That was the part where I was like,
oh,
"That's the third act,"
hmm.
because there was all that exposition.
That was the style of the film, though. I feel like there was exposition throughout the entire movie. I think that was the point.
I don't know. That bothered me. Bad Bunny scene bothered me too, not because I didn't like it. I thought
What?
his physicality was great.
Mm-hmm.
I liked his what they gave him. It's fine. It's just um I feel like they gave him all of that to then kill him in 5 seconds. And that was one of the first examples where I was like, that was it? Like you could have I was waiting for him when he kept repositioning him after he was dead, which was funny. That was funny.
That's funny.
I was waiting for him to come back to life and start trying to kill him again. I felt like that would have been hilarious if after every time he came back, after like the fifth time he did it, he was like, "All right, fuck this shit," and he was just gonna kill him. That would have been kind of funny if that happened. I was waiting for that.
With that, I kind of had a feeling that this was going to be that type of film where characters were just going to start dying off, one after another, and like by the end, it'll probably be hardly anybody alive. And the Bad Bunny, I feel like Bad Bunny is the type of actor that's perfect to do. Just kind of kill him off, give him a backstory, and kill him off. He's not like a heavy hitting actor. He's not a Brad Pitt. He's not, anybody like that. So, and he didn't even really talk. Like he talked, but it was just like, did he say anything?
In
He was
Spanish.
yeah, he was saying some things, but it was like he was really silent, pretty much, and it kind of gave some things in the third act too. It contributed to the third act as well with Zazie Beats and everything like that. So I think it contributed to the rest of the film, and I liked how they did. I thought it was funny how they did it, and it was kind of unexpected, but I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen with Bad Bunny. I thought Joey King's character was going to be more like that too, but she actually ended up playing a bigger role in the film than anticipated.
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, walking into this film, I was like, there's gonna be pretty much everybody's probably gonna die. Given this, plot.
Yeah, I just wish they gave Bad Bunny a little bit. Well, I wish the fight was just longer. I felt like I was getting into it and
I
then it
like
was
the
over.
fight a lot.
I do like the fight. The fight was cool. It was
Mm-hmm.
funny. I liked Brad Pitt's lines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Joey King was really really good in this movie. I liked her.
She was good.
Her role
I
was
agree.
very good. I did like the twist that she was Michael Shannon's daughter. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool.
The White Death.
What I didn't like was the way she died. I found that so fucking stupid.
I loved it. I loved the way she died, bro.
First of all, I saw it coming a mile away.
I
I
saw it
was
coming
like,
too. I did.
she's gonna get fucking hit by a bus, bro. And you know, I don't know. I feel like they spent like the whole movie setting her character up, and then that's the way she gets taken out, like getting hit
That's
by a
kind of
train.
the Yeah, I understand how you feel about it, but also I contribute that with the style of film it is. It doesn't really take itself too seriously in a lot of different ways, especially the deaths. With Zazie Beats' death as well, that was kind of just she was in it for like maybe 7 minutes
That was
of the
fucking
movie.
hilarious.
10,
I
10 minutes of the
loved that.
movie.
The movie.
I
I will
loved it
say
too.
this: the movie did a good job at catching me by surprise because I
Hmm.
totally forgot she was in this movie. And
Hmm.
when they revealed that she was the one in the mascot thing or whatever, I was like,
Hmm.
that's pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
Brad Pitt punches it and it makes like a squeaky noise.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Oh man.
But yeah, I wish, and another character that I didn't like the payoff for was Aaron Taylor Johnson. I when Brian Tyree Henry got shot, I was
Hmm.
like, he's wearing the vest because he said it earlier. He was like, "Oh, you gotta wear the vest. The vest protects your chest or whatever."
Hmm.
And when he got shot, I was like, he's wearing the vest. He's not dead. You're not gonna fucking kill him. And when Aaron Taylor Johnson's character died, I thought, oh shit, okay, so maybe he is dead. But then when they were like, no, he's still alive, I was like, so then what the fuck was the payoff? I didn't really feel the payoff. I feel like it would have been a lot better if both of them lived. That was the point of that. Because him and Brad Pitt barely have beef about it. They argue about it once, and then he's like, no, I forgive you. Even though it was a joke, obviously. But
Yeah.
deep down he forgave him. You know,
Right.
I wish that they gave
It was a
it a little bit
misunderstanding.
better.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
a that's another thing that that you had an issue with that I didn't quite have an issue with because I think it did pay off for me personally because there is that emotional moment where they showed a flashback of them as kids and he gives them the Thomas the Tank. He said, "You're more of a Thomas." That I kind of was like tearing up a little bit. I was like, "Good,
I when
brother."
he found him dead, I
Hmm.
felt it. I was like, okay, that's a nice moment or whatever. But then when they revealed, oh yeah, he's alive, but then he died, I was like, okay, now I don't care
Hmm.
now. Because
Oh.
number one, I saw it coming, and number two, there's no payoff for it. I
Mm.
didn't I don't know that really bugged me. Michael Shannon was great in this movie.
He was.
I,
Wasn't
I,
in it a whole lot, but he was good.
I with the way I was feeling, it felt like a whole lot. Um, I wish the third act, even though I liked it, I expected something different. I expected it to be this balls to the wall crazy third act where Scorpion from Mortal Kombat was just gonna start going crazy on everybody. That's what I thought was gonna happen, and that definitely did not happen. It was kind of essentially a Deadpool third. I know I keep comparing it to Deadpool, but that's what it felt like. You know,
It's
it's not
very
a
similar.
negative.
Yeah.
It was essentially a Deadpool third act. And you know, it was a cool third act, but I wish it had a little more oomph to it. I like the way Michael Shannon died. That was cool.
That was awesome. I
That
thought
that
that
was
was awesome.
cool. That was really cool.
Hmm.
Um, what else? What else can we talk about?
Thomas the
Um,
Tank. How did you feel about the Thomas the Tank
it was
engine
see,
references?
it was funny because he's not watching this. He's definitely asleep by now. But my little brother worships Thomas the Tank Engine. He loves Thomas the Tank Engine, and so when they started referencing Thomas the Tank Engine, I was like, "That's kind of fucking hilarious." Um,
And it
and
fits
I
because it's
liked it.
Bullet Train.
It didn't get old, and I liked how they related the trains to his emotions and his
Yeah.
judgment. So I was like, yeah,
Yeah. He said,
that's
I
cool.
learned how to read people by watching Thomas the Tank Engine. I know anything about anybody. So that's kind of
Um,
dope. I like that.
I like that. They were funny, and man, they were so
Trying to
fucking
figure out
funny
who the
together.
Diesel was.
Um, the action set pieces were really good. I think probably my favorite one was the one in the quiet car. That was funny.
I
That was
did like
really
that one a
funny, and I
lot.
like the setup for that scene is great. How they have to fight, but they have to be quiet. That's
Hmm.
funny. You know,
Yeah, and the
that's a
lady
great.
keeps shushing him,
Eat a
keeps
bag of
turning
dicks,
around.
lady.
I'm
She's
sorry.
like, I'm
I'm so
sorry,
sorry.
I'm sorry. That was fun. And I like the one where the one where him and Aaron Taylor Johnson finally fight. That was a great fight. I liked
Hmm.
that a lot. When he
Hmm.
threw, they showed it in the trailer when he throws the bottle of water
The
at his
bottle
head.
of water. Yeah.
Um, I do
But
think I didn't mention this in my spoiler free section, but I think characters have a little bit too much plot armor in this movie. There's some where it makes sense, like Brad Pitt and Joey King. I kind of live with the Joey King thing, even though I do think it's a little fucking ridiculous. But like Aaron Taylor Johnson, they both get blown. He literally leaps from the train tracks to the train. The train is going full speed, and he's able to just climb into the train
yeah, he
unscathed.
punched the window in.
Yeah, I was like, "Mm,
There's
okay."
I can't really put logic to this film because of the style of it. Like, yeah, it's crazy and it's kind of based in reality, but no, it's not really. It's like you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit with this film.
Um,
I think that's one reason why a lot of people say you got to turn your brain off to enjoy this movie, because if you're thinking about this logically, like there's no way that he would have been able to catch up with the train, jump on the back of it, punch in the window, climb into it without a scratch. There's no way. But there's a lot of instances of that in this movie. So
I thought the cinematography was inconsistent. There were parts where it looked good, but it was fine. And then there's other parts, like in the White Death flashback, where I was like, yo, this looks fantastic.
yeah, yeah.
And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
where has this been the whole movie? You know, I don't know why that flashback got the most attention. They show it in the trailer, the shots of them loading the guns on the
Yeah,
arms and
that
shit.
was dope.
I
I kind
love
of
that
got
shot.
chills when he was doing that, and he did it to himself.
Um,
And
that
then
was that
yeah,
was
it's so
great.
dope.
You know, I was like, shit, where was the cinematography before?
Yeah,
The third act was fine. They did show the whole movie in the trailer. They showed the train going off the rails and fucking blowing up and shit. I was like, that's the third act of the movie. They and I
that's why
think
I
they
didn't watch
showed in the
the
trailer. They
second
showed
trailer.
him meeting up with Sandra Bullock. I was like, that is definitely the last shot in the movie.
What?
Yeah, they showed everything, dude. They showed
I didn't
everything.
even know Sandra Bullock was going to be in this movie.
I did until I saw the
I didn't
second
look at
trailer.
all the I didn't look at the whole cast list before I walked in. Um, but I when he was talking to her on the phone, I recognized the voice, but I couldn't put the face to the voice. But then when she showed up, I was like, ah, okay, that's her, yeah, for sure.
Um, we got a couple cameos in this movie. We didn't talk about them.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the
Let,
cameos.
so Channing Tatum showed up, and I gasped because I listen. I personally I love Channing Tatum. I think he's a very underrated actor. I
Hmm.
think he's 21 Jump Street and 22. They're both great. I think he's great in White House Down. I think that's probably his most underrated role. If you ask me, I think he's actually pretty great in that movie. I like him a
Hmm.
lot in that movie. Um, so, and he was in Free Guy, right?
Yeah, but he was in it kind of like a cameo, like this movie.
Yeah, I didn't really like him in Free Guy that much. Um, he shows up in this movie, and I thought it was hilarious. The whole situation was hilarious. Um, and I thought it was a funny scene. And the second cameo we got, which I thought he was gonna show up, but I guess he never did, was Ryan Reynolds as what's the dude's name?
Was it
Ba-
Connor or something like that?
Basically, Brad Pitt is filling in for Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds
Yeah,
was
his
supposed to
character.
be. It would
Hmm.
have been genius if they revealed, like, oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds was supposed to be the star of this movie, but he couldn't because of scheduling conflicts. So then they got Brad
That
Pitt. That would be genius.
would have
Um,
been.
but yeah, he cameos for like a brief second, and I don't know, like when they revealed it was Ryan Reynolds, I was like I kind of laughed, but I was like, okay, I guess.
I was
Because
kind
I
of the
feel
same
like
way.
because they did the same thing in Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah,
Although I found that funnier,
it's
but
because they didn't do it before, but now
yeah,
we've seen it
I feel
before.
like he's gonna be that person all the time. Like when there's a masked person, and then they wait till the whole movie, then they reveal, oh, it's Ryan Reynolds. I don't know. The Ryan Reynolds appeal to me is just gone at this point because of movies like Free Guy, where I'm just like you're
Carver,
not
that's his
you're
name.
Carver. The Ryan Reynolds appeal to me is just gone at this point because I'm like, you're the same in everything, bro. Like I don't care about you anymore. I really don't.
He didn't
Like
even have lines in this movie.
I what do you think they would have sounded like, bro?
I'm not saying I'm not mad about it. I'm just saying they didn't even
You
have
know what
lines
they
in this
were gonna
movie.
come out and sound as?
Yeah, Deadpool. You know,
It's fucking fly, bitch. Move. Um, what else? What else can we really talk about? I liked the Joey King thing, and her plot line with Andrew Koji. I liked that.
mhm.
That was really cool.
With
Um,
the bomb stuff.
oh yeah, we didn't talk about that when the guys open up the bomb and they're fidgeting with it. And he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What if there's a bomb in the briefcase? We're all fucked."
I was like, well,
Um, and I like how they kept building it to it blowing up. That
it's
was
like,
cool.
why didn't he open it?
This dude on the train when the third act finally starts, they lift his fucking this dude up and he gets destroyed by this pole, and it was probably the best part of the movie in terms of violence. I was like,
Hmm.
holy shit, that dude is DUD.
Yeah. The another pretty violent scene was the flashback when they were doing the kill count
That
with
was probably my
Tangerine
favorite
and
part of the movie.
Lemon and Tangerine.
When that part happened, I said to Kevin, if this is the whole movie, this is gonna be my favorite movie of the year. And
Yeah,
unfortunately it
it was
wasn't.
great.
But that
Yeah,
was probably
I
my
really like
favorite
that
scene in the
scene.
movie. I
Honestly.
wish the movie kind of did that because that scene was kind of it breaking the fourth wall. I would have been curious to see a version of this movie where it broke the fourth wall.
Hmm.
I think that would have made it a little bit funnier. Like
Yeah. I
if
think
Brad Pitt was talking to the audience after all these crazy scenarios, he would have looked at the
yeah.
screen and be like, "What the fuck was that?"
I think he strayed away from doing that because it would have been too much like Deadpool. I think that might have been one of the reasons why it was written that way. But I like that too. I think that would have been cool, a cool aspect of it. We didn't talk
um,
about Logan Lerman. What do you think about him in this film?
all 15 seconds of him in this movie.
I That's the character I thought was going to be in the movie a little bit more.
I did too, but then they just in the teaser trailer, that's him in the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, because when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, it's probably gonna be alive. Nope,
Yeah.
he is there for a paycheck. I was
I
like,
was cool with it
okay,
because there were so many characters in this movie, and I'm like, how are they gonna fit like all these characters in at one time? And I was like, okay, he's dead now, so now we can move on to these other characters. His character wasn't even that interesting though, and when they introduced him, I was like, okay, you know,
I don't
whatever. And
remember him being introduced. I just remember him dying or being dead.
yeah, I mean, they had to, and they had to. Well, he wasn't dead when they found him. They had to find him, put him on the train, and then they walked away for like 5 seconds, and what's her name killed him. Zazie Beats' character. We don't
Yeah,
find out that until towards the end of the movie,
um,
but
I
like in
didn't
the second
remember
act.
that.
But
Guess
yeah,
I gotta watch it again.
bleeding from his eyes.
Um, yeah, it's been a very eventful 48 hours, or you know, so I really don't remember little parts of the movie.
Hmm.
I was kind of excited to see him because I haven't seen him act in forever. I
Yeah.
guess I'm gonna have to keep
So
waiting.
yeah, you have to wait until he's longer because his
um,
part was
what
very
else?
small.
What else? What other spoilers are
But
there?
I love how it was like a Joey King that was his, the White Death's son. Joey King was his daughter. He favored his son more, I guess, and then it kind of turned out to where no, like he paid an assassin to kill his son. That was kind of like
Yeah,
weird because he inadvertently killed his mom. So the White Death was like, okay, I'm gonna kill my son now. So I was like, okay, interesting. But it was that type of movie. It was that type of movie. So I kind of accepted it.
Well, apparently there was a post credit scene. I did not stay for it because I was ready to go. Did you see it? No.
I was out of there, bro. As soon as the first credit hit the screen, I was basically in my car, bro.
Yeah, me too. I was out. Forget it.
Well, when I walked out, I heard like the screen going and like people talking on the screen, but I didn't go look
There
back
was
and
okay. So the first thing they show, I know I saw one. It was them showing how Brian Tyree Henry ended up in the car. It showed him jumping out of the water and killing the other guy when he jumps from the train.
oh yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't see that.
he gets out of the water, he shoots the guy, and then he gets in the truck. He's like, "Fuck this bitch," and he hits Joey King.
Oh, so he was driving the truck
Yeah,
that killed Joey King.
uh huh.
Wow, I
Yeah,
didn't know that. I didn't know that.
that's why the tangerines came out of the truck. That was them, I guess.
I saw that it was tangerines, but I didn't know that it was actually him driving. Like I
Yeah.
saw it, but I thought it was just kind of like, oh, that's the symbolism of tangerine since he died. That's what I
Um,
thought, but I didn't see that in scene, so I was
oh,
just gonna
okay.
wait till the physical.
The funniest part of the movie, one of them was when, uh, I guess this was when Tangerine fake died, or he was doing something or whatever, and he was like, "Fuck, what are we gonna do?" Because they were like, "Oh, we want both of you on the platform." And then Brad Pitt goes as Tangerine, and he was like,
Mhm.
"Wow, they really are twins," and that was funny.
Mhm.
I was like, "That that's pretty funny."
That's funny.
But
And he did the briefcase. It was a whole lot of nothing in there.
that
Hilarious.
is going to do it for this review, guys. Again, we wanted to keep it short because it's late. I can't even go full me because it's late. My mom is sleeping. Um,
Mhm.
but we just wanted to review this because this was the better of the two releases that we got this weekend. The other one being Prey, which I still have not reviewed on my Instagram. The review is done. It's probably gonna come out Wednesday if I feel like dropping it. I'll probably just.
Bro, Prey wasn't that bad, bro.
It wasn't that bad, but I honestly just like that movie made me feel nothing, bro. Like
Yeah,
it
I can
was a
see that.
fine movie, but I just like I finished the review. It's done. I just
Hmm.
eh,
Actually posting it,
yeah,
it's like,
I don't care.
it's
But that is
very
gonna
middle
do
of the
it.
road.
Thank you to the couple people that showed up. I know it's late. More than likely the views are gonna come in on the replay. But thank you guys so much. In terms of future content from me, today I posted my review for Bodies, the newest A24 movie. I got to see it early. Go check that out. It was one of my favorites of the year. Very good. This weekend we might be reviewing that movie. We'll see. We'll see how things line up. I want to review it this weekend because I'm so eager to talk about that movie. It's it was good. Really, 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 really good. So go check out my written review for that. Um Wednesday I'll probably drop my review for Prey. And then I dropped my written review for this on Friday. Go check that out. And then I don't know what I'm doing after that. The three major releases I was looking forward to all came out this weekend. So I guess I'm gonna I'm gonna see what franchise movies are coming out, maybe review those. The big one is Halloween, but I don't want to review all the Halloween movies. I want to keep reviewing them
One,
annually each
yeah,
year. Um, and I don't really know what other franchise movies we're getting. There's nothing.
no, not really,
This is
nothing
probably the
really.
most dead point. There's a couple movies coming out. We got The Invitation coming out in a couple weeks, which I'm looking forward to an extent. I think that Barbarian movie's coming out soon too.
That's in September.
Since September. So I guess the only movie coming out in August is The Invitation. Um,
Yep.
I guess I'll fill in the gaps with some watch alongs, man. Pretty soon I'll keep you guys up to date. We're gonna do Once Upon a Time in Hollywood on here. That's gonna be the last of the summer watch alongs. I'm not gonna do Lara Croft Tomb Raider because I don't think anyone's really gonna tune in for that. That was the one I wanted to do, but I don't know if I'm gonna want to do that. Um, we'll see though. Uh, but once again, thank you guys. I know I rambled. Thank you guys so much for joining, and everyone. You guys are probably ready to sleep, but everyone have a great one, and we will see you on the next one, man.